Welcome to CarePod, a safe place to educate, inspire, and renew the caregiver. Listen in with our host, Dr. Kipley Bell, as she interviews different experts along the caregiving journey.
So I'm really happy today. You all know that I love to sit with friends. I love to sit with colleagues that I respect, colleagues that I meet that become friends, all the goodness. I met these two dynamic women at our caregiver town hall event. And just when you meet people that are just doing important work and that it's going to be a powerful connection and collaboration. So without further ado, I have Lisa and Kim here of Haddon Home Care. Kim Wagner, the CEO of Haddon Home Care, and her partner in crime, if you will, Lisa Maltese. Just really excited to have them to discuss a lot, right? Like in all seriousness, the important work, really, the groundwork, the day-to-day, what we call in medicine, scut work of caregiving is really what lays the foundation of the patient's overall wellness. And so Lisa Wagner founded Haddon Home Care on the basis of non-medical home care. And, you know, I could keep talking, but I'm just excited to have you both and excited to have this conversation, and welcome to the CarePod.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. So I ask all our guests their why. So both of you chime in. Tell me about your path individually, how you came together, what you find important about the work that you do, etc.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory. I was married years ago, worked in healthcare, met my husband at the same place. He worked there as well. Then we were going through a divorce. And during that time of separation, he suffered a severe traumatic brain injury.
Wow.
So he needed extensive surgeries at Cooper. He went to acute rehab. He went to a brain injury program. But there was a visit. They said, he's coming home. And since we were going through a divorce, I did not feel equipped to take care of him. So I hired a home care agency to provide live-in care for him. I was so happy with the care that they provided that after they were finished providing care for him, they had a case manager job available. I applied, went to work there, took a huge cut in my vacation time to go work for them, and I was thrilled. Loved the home care world. Didn't know a thing about it before my ex-husband suffered the brain injury, but it was wonderful. I became assistant manager of the office and then the general manager. And during COVID, I was laid off. So the job hunt was very difficult. I had someone approach me to say, hey, we should start a home care agency. And we did. So I had a business partner. I've since bought her out. She moved to Washington State to be with her family. So that was how Haddon Home Care started, over just a lunch saying we should do this. And I always wanted to, I just never could take the step on my own. I was too nervous that I wouldn't be able to do it. So having a partner, yeah, I know. Here we are.
Look at you now. Amazing. You know, I say this very respectfully in a lot of spaces, that COVID was almost a gift, you know, to us all in a way, to reevaluate and to push us on to more, right? So here you are in this painful place personally, yet still honoring your ex in a form. And then now look what was birthed out of that. So amazing. So I want to know what invigorated you, right? Because you have these great non-medical home care people that they love the day-to-day tasks. And then you have some that find that mundane to be just, you know, so mundane and so overwhelming. So where is that sweet spot, and what kind of inspired you in that space?
Well, just in general, I have that unique perspective to be from the family side, to understand their crisis, and then also from the office side and the caregiver side. So I can put those two together to blend that and really understand the individual clients. I am able to really do a good job matching up the clients and the caregivers, because that is very important. We don't want to just put a body with someone.
The
That's
personalities.
not going to work out. So based on initial conversations with family members, and then when we go out to the home to do the assessment, I get a really good read on them, anyone else who's in the home with them as well, to find the perfect fit. Sometimes I have a hiccup here or there with that, but I would say 98% of the time I am on point with the caregivers, and I'm very fortunate for the staff that I have, because without them I can't do this. I mean, they're literally doing the heavy lifting for me to have a successful business.
Absolutely. And so with that, and I want to hear from you as well, Lisa, but with that, how do you handle the nutcase daughter? Hi, yeah, it's like the care I give, and it's expected of me as a clinician. And so I feel what you're saying, because it resonates with me so deeply, that the care I want for my own mother, I extend to my own patients. So when my mother is in need of care, I'm helicopter to a degree, So how do you deal with that, crazy client, if you will, or,
Try to put myself in the family member's position or that client's position and really understand where they're coming from, because usually there's a reason for it. There's a reason why they're acting that way. And once we can get to the bottom of it, then we can move forward and work together. So it's just individually understanding that person and what their needs are and how to navigate it.
Yes. So Lise, tell me about your path.
Sure. I have a little bit of a diverse woven background. I started off, I spent many, many years working with children with multiple disabilities, including those with autism, and helping families. What led me to that path in helping others was going through a personal loss in my own life. So with that said, that led me onto the path of working in the healthcare community, internationally, as well as here in the United States, working in the local community here, getting to know Kim, we shared families that we offered and provided care for. She's a woman after my own heart. What can I say? Took lemons and made lemonade out of the situation.
I love it. And women helping women, right?
That's right.
I heard this scary. Yeah, I heard this scary statistic. Excuse me, like something like every 10,000 caregivers are over 70, and women, like something really, really jarring. So it's an important work for us to do.
Very important. I have, like Kim, I have experienced, and am experiencing as a caregiver in my family, with close family members that need help and need that extra care. And it is stressful, and you try not to be that helicopter, you have to let go, but dealing with families for so many years. And I loved, I worked also during COVID, height of COVID, inpatient rehab. So skilled nursing, rehabilitation, and, that forces you to lean in moments like that. Lean in and communicate. And we really, I love her. She's great. We make a great team. The idea is to really communicate with the families, kind of get to the bottom of what's going on, and offer support in that way.
Yeah.
And Lisa, we met over coffee. Yeah. She worked in hospice at the time, and we connected and we became friends instantly.
Yes.
Amazing.
And then now we're together. Now she's my liaison.
I love it. I love it. So take me through. There's something that you said, Lisa, that I really feel, which is this letting go. Like literally at the time of this podcast, as soon as it's over, it's like zip home, feed mama lunch, handle the littles, and then get to the hospital. So it's an honor, but it is, as I had recently expressed to Lisa offline, it's getting tight. It's getting to the point where I realize that I have to practice what I preach and let go and
Mhm.
seek help and all the things. So take us from those initial stages with a client, from the time of intake, reaching out, connecting, matching, all the things.
Well, in the beginning, it's getting to know the person that you're communicating with, often a family member, a daughter, a son, an uncle, a niece, nephew, and seeing where their perspective comes from, getting the background, a little background about the loved one that they're caring for and that need a little extra help. The more that we know, the better that we can help and, understanding what the needs are. And then, moving on to the next step is including the clinical part, having a registered nurse, one of our registered nurses, join in and providing, a care plan to the team, working together to communicate that to our caregivers that go in and take care of this. And it's not just, the client themselves, the person that we're caring for, but it's the family as a whole and understanding their needs and helping the family.
I was talking to a daughter yesterday. We just started care recently for our mom. So we're doing a lot of check-ins, recommendations, just working with her. And she, over the phone yesterday, said, I really appreciate all of the contact, all of the follow-ups. And I said, yeah, I know we're so annoying at first, but we just want to make sure everything is going good. She had a couple of that as well. Maybe it's kind of what we tell them. We're going to be on top of things at first, but as things settle in, you don't hear from us as much, which is a good thing. When you're not hearing from the office, that means everything is good to go and completely settled with scheduling, with the caregivers, any issues, concerns. So it's smooth sailing from that point.
It's important to be good listeners,
Absolutely. And it's funny because I have read a lot recently about the need to train the caregiver. So, where we care now, the caregiver has a voice. Now we're entering into this sphere where, doctors, clinicians alike are trained to allow the caregiver at bedside, their space for input because they're the ones that are noticing changes during grooming or outings, the like. So, what do you do in that regard as you're adjusting to the family? You said the nurse takes this assessment care plan, and then do you have kind of care plan meetings around each family you intake to uh, continue that pipeline of communication and education?
Yes, internally, our office team, we meet every morning and we discuss the clients, any issues going on with them, any scheduling that needs to be going on. So kind of like a mini stand-up meeting that they have in facilities and hospitals. So that way we're all on the same page. We can answer any questions, no matter who gets the phone call. And if there's anything we need to take care of, any of us can handle it.
So, what excites you about the future as we are kind of encroaching upon this or embracing this aging tsunami? What excites you about that opportunity for yourself as a woman entrepreneur, but also the integrity of the small business that you've created thus far?
Well, long-term goal is I would like to open a dementia community, like an assisted living community geared towards dementia, like they have over in Europe. So it's more of that home feel model. So working towards that will be long-term, like I said. But just for now, continue to grow the business. But like you said, keep it a small business. I want to be hands-on. I want to be involved in the day-to-day, know every caregiver, know every client, work on the schedule myself, because then I get to know all the details about every individual, whether it's my companion staff, my nurses, my home health aides, and then all my clients and their family members.
Yeah, I think there's something unique to that, right? Like you want to grow, but you want to still be intimate with your clientele. Absolutely. So tell me, are there, um, kind of pearls and pitfalls that you train your caregivers on in terms of, you know, these are the 10 steps you want to avoid, these are the 10 things you must know, that you find to be generic or a pattern across many families, despite the different familial differences?
I feel like we really do it generally. It's really more individualized per client because everyone is unique. Everyone's a little bit different. Some want you to be proactive when you walk in the house. Some want to ask you to do everything. Understanding where they are with their dementia, because each level we know is unique. So we really have to tailor it to that person, their background as well. So we like to find out what we can about who they were previously before they became our clients.
That's
Yes,
so
and
huge. Go ahead,
it
Lisa.
is, and it's also huge. It's also huge to understand where they call home. It's not always in a house, so to speak, where they've lived before. It can be in a community, somewhere in a memory unit, and that's also important. Is to have get to know what the dynamics are and how there are things working in their home and that community. So assisted living community, memory care community, and the staff that's there because we want to be a part of the family. And that's important for our staff, for our caregivers to understand what the dynamics are as well in that setting.
Absolutely. Attention, healthcare professionals. Are you looking to enhance your skills and stay ahead in your field? Look no further than our ACCME accredited CME courses. Whether you're a doctor, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner, our courses are tailored to meet your needs. Why focus on geriatric education, you ask? Because regardless of your specialty, geriatric care is becoming increasingly essential. As our population ages, the demand for competent healthcare professionals in geriatrics is higher than ever before. We don't stop there. Our courses also empower caregivers to partner with you in the care of your patients. We believe that by fostering a strong partnership between healthcare clinicians and caregivers, we can provide the best possible care for our elderly population. So join our impactful caregiving community today. Sign up for our ACCME accredited course instruction and take the first step towards advancing your career and making a difference in the lives of your patients. Absolutely. So tell me, are there any collaborations or communities that you integrate with? So say the client has, they have their routine, obviously, their familial culture, what happens in the home. But say, mom goes to adult daycare 2 days a week. How do you integrate, if you do, your caregiver in those communities or as a part of that person's care and regimen?
In that circumstance, like an adult day program, we won't go into it. We might take them, transport to and from. So there's not really any integration. It's more in the facilities and getting to know the staff at the facilities, working alongside the DON, the executive directors, any issues and concerns that they have or we have that we can all work together, address immediately to make it smooth for the resident of that community who is now our client.
Got you. Okay. So like if the patient is, I've had clients where they're in an assisted living and I'm making my house call to their assisted living facility and a caregiver may be present within that context as well. Mm-hmm. So that type of scenario.
Partaking in their daily activities, partaking in extracurricular activities that happen there. And then with the adult the daycare situation, or I should say, we talk with, like Kim said, whatever, maybe there's something special that they discovered, with the family member, with our client that they like, taste change, whether it's a special game. And we like to get that information and incorporate that into the care at home. So this way there's consistency.
We also work alongside hospice. We work alongside PT and OT. especially for the range of motion exercises that the physical therapist gives out, try to build up the strength for our clients. We do a lot of post-hospital or post-rehab clients, a lot of times initially live-in. So the goal is really get them acclimated back to the surroundings, get them started with PT and OT. We work on the range of motion exercises and building up their strength, so then we can take the live-in out of there, maybe provide hourly care, or maybe they become so independent they don't need us. That's the ultimate goal. Get them as independent as possible back to their baseline from before the hospital or rehab stay.
Yes.
What happens, especially after a rehab stay, is you see, and I'm sure you've seen this, there's a lot of rehospitalization. So that's something that we aim to prevent, to help. It does take a team, and we love to be a part of that team. We work very well, like Kim said, with the others in the community to prevent
And for the
that.
continuity of care, absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. Important. I'm going
Yeah.
through that now with my family member, my father-in-law. He suffered a major stroke, and it's amazing how, with the continue of care of therapy and the help of having a live-in home health aide, I see him thriving. He's having his best life that he can have right now. And I think that's our goal, is to help our clients have their best life at this moment. Don't think about yesterday. Let's not
Yeah.
worry
Yeah.
about tomorrow. Let's live now. And help the families enjoy those special moments. Like I am blessed that I was able to enjoy. So I think that's something that our goal is together to help the families and caregivers like yourself to realize, you know what? Let's take a breath and
Yeah.
let's enjoy this moment.
Yes.
And to
Breath.
also let the family members be the family.
Yeah.
You can be the daughter.
Yeah.
You're not the caregiver. Just enjoy your time as the daughter, not taking care of your loved.
Yes.
Let us
And
help.
I think there's a few things to unpack there. It is the permission to say, I don't want to be I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a daughter. I don't want to be a mom. I want to be just me in this moment right now. I need to give myself permission to breathe the tasks out, So when you say, when I use the term, I don't want to be, in terms of, taking on the roles in this moment, giving yourself permission to surrender those roles at times so that you can regroup and recalibrate. Question: say you have a blank slate, you have a family that's looking to you for guidance, for a regimen, for structure. What do you provide in terms of options for activities or socialization, for instance?
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I think it starts with talking about the past, like the past likes, dislikes, what they did in their free time prior to their current state. What kind of work were they into before, when they had full-time jobs or part-time jobs? There's such a variety of ways to be creative and try new things. Kind of think outside the box. I think that's where, like, being in special ed for so many years, you have to think outside the box. You don't get from point A to
Cookie
point
cutter.
B to straight line. There's no way.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
I think you start there and then, come up with some creative activities and adjust. It's always about adjustment. It's always about, forget those high expectations. I try to tell families, let's just take one moment at a time and try different ways. And then we would see what works. It's trial and error.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us about your live-in situation, your live-in options. What does that look like?
A live-in caregiver is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So the live-in care, that's why post-hospital or rehab, we feel it's so important, because you get that consistency and that continuity of care. So that live-in caregiver is going to get them in a routine, help with those exercises and the strength building. They are going to notice any status changes immediately before they become an issue. If someone starts developing a UTI, they'll notice it before it becomes more of an issue. So that way we can intervene with the doctor and get some medication, some antibiotics in that. Or could be any other health status change, mental status change that they would notice and be on top of so we can communicate with the families. So live-in care, I just think, is so important for people who want to age in place. They want to stay in their family home. We have someone right now who the mom has been in the home her entire life. Her dad built the house. She never wants to go anywhere.
Wow.
So this is the option for her. She can stay at home and still be safe by having a live-in caregiver with her to make sure she's okay as she has these memory issues.
So tell us, one thing I've been saying to people recently, as a part of my why, is that, I was so excited at shy of 30, 27-ish, to retire my mom. I retire you. You work so hard as a nurse, this and that. But not even about tools, but just awareness to know what conversations to have in place then at 30 with a young old versus walking through these different challenges or decision-making obstacles that you have later in life. So a lot of my why is having these early preparations and conversations when you don't necessarily have to, but things are in place. So I say all that to say, when you talk about a live-in caregiver and so forth, is that financially satisfied by those who take out a long-term care policy, for instance? What are your suggestions to, the 30-something who, maybe starting to see the writing on the wall with mom or dad, and wants to start to financially prepare themselves for their parents' older adult years?
Definitely long-term care insurance. They say the best time to get that is around 50 years old. So for the kids, that would be a great gift to give your parents when they're around that age, when you can't figure out what else to get. Your parents who have everything. And that really helps them, again, age in place, stay in their home, or it will cover facility care if they wanted to move to an assisted living or an independent living community. So that is the biggest piece. I'm starting to look into that for myself at this point. I'm not quite there yet. I've got
Me too.
years, but I'm going to when the need arises, because it's just so important. And then you don't have to worry about the money and how to afford this, because it's just going to keep getting more expensive. Healthcare is expensive.
Yeah. And good care, because I think, listen, we all want the least expensive way to do things, right? But at the end of the day, even in my own practice, when I pay my staff above grade, I'm showing them their value, that I value them and that I want to retain them, and that they have someone else's lives in their hands. So although the standard might be X an hour, I want to give them 2X or 3X an hour. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, in that financial preparation, that becomes an early and important conversation as we age. So tell us, we're international. I know we're based in Jersey here. I have clients in Pennsylvania as well. Tell us about your bandwidth. Like, do you offer even remote consultations to families who may not be in your area, but need to know kind of a caregiver guide to home care, for instance? Or, consulting with a new client, how one would find you?
I've spoken to people out of state before in regards to care for their loved one. It's a little more difficult because I don't know the individual state's resources like I do in New Jersey, but I try to offer as much help as I can for them to find the resources, or for me to find the resources to assist them. We provide care in New Jersey, as you said, in Burlington, Camden, and Gloucester counties. We can provide care anywhere from 1 hour a day to 24 hours a day, including live-in care. We don't have any weekly minimums, so we have people who just use us for a doctor's appointment once every 4 months. Or we have people who use us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they determine the schedule. It's really based on their needs, and we can help them decide what would be best for their loved one after having the conversation with them as well.
Great. So you do you speak with the caregiver, but you also do an assessment and then make a recommendation and meet somewhere in the middle on what's appropriate.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And then tell us, are families able to develop a coffer, if you will? So, hey, I want to put monies in this kind of bank for my needs. And, is that something that you work with families to do, or that's something that they can self-initiate?
Well, we can recommend. We have a wonderful group of community around us of professionals in diverse areas. So we can definitely recommend those families who want to do that to the professional, to the specialists that we work with together in partnership.
So like a Haddon Home Care membership, if you will, but yet it's external to you.
We have to be resources. This is the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So list your website. Let us know how our CarePod audience can find you, all the goodness.
We are haddonhomecare.com. You can reach us 7 days a week via phone. You can also text our main number. It's 856-866-6780.
And we are also on social media. Please follow us, on Facebook and LinkedIn. We do like to post lots of exciting activities and things that we do in the community and reach out to those in the community in need. So please feel free to follow us.
Absolutely. I'll follow you myself. Didn't know you were on LinkedIn. Love that. Love that. Love that. Well, I really appreciate your time. I think that this is an important conversation. It's important information. And like I share in full transparency with my own audience that, I'm pretty much there, ready to initiate my own services with Haddon Home Care. And I don't bring people on the CarePod that I don't personally trust myself, and as well as my clients. So look forward to future collaboration and, people that have sincere heart for our aging loved ones, right? So it's important work that we're all doing together.
It is. Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great information right from the source. For more information on how to caregive like a boss, check out impactfulcaregiving.com. Want to be a guest on the show? Contact us at CarePod at impactfulcaregiving.com.